Welcome to Rise and Shine Daily Business Tech Boost with me, Charly Leetham. If you're a small business owner looking to simplify technology and get real, actionable advice from someone with 35 years of IT experience, you're in the right place. Every episode, I'll dive into tools and systems like email, CRM, marketing and tracking, and break them down into bite-sized tips you can use right away. Your time is valuable, so let's get straight to the point. It's time to work smarter, not harder. Rise and shine. It's your daily dose of business tech inspiration with me, Charly Leetham. Episode number 472 today. And we are returning to Gravity Forms. I am changing tack a little on it. We are actually going to look at one of the other features that Gravity Forms allows you to do, and that's to make a post from a form. So you enter all of your information into a form and it creates the post for you. Why would you want to do that? Well, there's a couple of reasons. The first one that I can think of, and I have used this for, is that I just simply do not want to give people access to the back end of my WordPress website. Now, there's ways of locking it down and all those things so that they only see what they need to see, and that works perfectly well. And there's just this thing in me that says we really don't want to be giving too many people access to the full back end, so we can make it easier for them by giving them a form and just getting them to fill it out, and then we decide what to do with that post once it's submitted. The second reason that I can think of, and it has saved me a number of times, is that people get overwhelmed by the post editor in WordPress. Particularly if you're not using a page builder, it can be the block editor can be a bit overwhelming. Actually, I was going to say the editor can be a bit overwhelming, and that was on the old days of WordPress before we had the block editor, before we had Gutenberg editor. The Gutenberg editor is better. It is still quite daunting, and it's still, to me, the feel is still quite techy in nature, and I know people struggle with that. So that's a second reason you might want to do it. The third reason is that you might want to just allow people to submit things to you that you may or may not use as posts on your website. So it might be, and you're looking for opinions, it might be that you're looking for reviews. Getting your reviews through a form and having them go in as a type of post under a review category is a really good way of doing it. It just makes things easier for you. So there's a couple of reasons you might want to use a post to do this. It might also be you're running a membership site and you just want to put the form on your membership dashboard and let people enter their information that way. So there's a couple of reasons you might want to do it. Whatever that reason is, what I want to do is show you how you can do it and let you make some decisions as to whether this is something that is of use to you or not. I have certainly used it. In the example I'm going to give you today, we are only going to be doing posts. Gravity Forms out of the box without any add-ons will allow you to create posts in your website. It won't allow you to use a custom post type, but it will allow you to use posts. So let's have a look at this functionality today, talk about a few things associated with that, and then we'll see where we go in future podcast episodes. So without further ado, this is my demo WordPress website. This is the one we've been working on for all of these tutorials. If I come down to the Forms menu and go to Forms, now for those of you that are just tuning in today's episode, I have covered how to install and how to configure Gravity Forms and how to create a form previously. It is a few episodes back. It's well worth going through and looking at those if you are a little confused about how we got to here. If you know what you're doing and you want to just dive straight in here, cool bananas. Okay, so here we have the forms that we've created. So you'll notice we've still got the contact form that we created in previous episodes. If you tuned in yesterday, you'll know that I showed you how to import a form. I've deleted that imported form so we don't have any confusion. What we're going to do though is we're going to create a new form today, and that form is going to be used to allow people to submit articles to you or submit blog posts to you. So we create a new form by clicking the Add New button. Look, you try and use one of these templates. I am just going to use a blank form. I really am a fundamentalist when it comes to it. And I'm just going to call the form something useful at a post in this case. That gives us our blank canvas to use. Now, what we want to do here is we don't want to necessarily want to collect usernames, etc., or names, etc. We might. I'll come back to that in a minute. What we want to do is just create a post from a form. So we're going to keep it really simple. So across in the right-hand side where we've got standard forms that opens up, we're going to close that down just by clicking on the fields, and we come down to post fields. And you'll notice in post fields we've got 7 different options. So I'm going to drag some things across and talk about them as I go. We've got the title. So the title is going to be the page title for the blog post. So it's your headline, basically. What are you calling your post? Under the title, you have a couple of options. You've got the post status. So when the form is submitted, you'll notice you've got these little question marks. If you mouse over them, just hold your mouse over them, it gives you a tooltip as to what they mean. So when the post is submitted, when this form is submitted, what status do you want to take? Do you want your post to take? You have 3 options. You've got draft, pending review, and published. I typically leave it as a draft because then that allows me to go in, look at it, make sure that there's nothing untoward in it and edit it. If you are trusting the people that are putting these in, you can either set it to pending review or published. It really is entirely up to you. You then have a default post author. Now I've added a couple of users to my site. There's me, there's an author, a contributor, and an editor. That's their usernames. That's not what they are. That's their roles as well, but that's their usernames. I can have these posts, when they're submitted, attributed to one of these authors. You'll also notice you have the ability, a checkbox here, to use logged in users as the author. Right, that's fantastic. So if someone else is logged in on the site, if you're running a membership site and someone has the ability to add posts and such, you can give them access to the form on a page. They can fill in their information and it will take their logged in details and override the default post user setting here. So this is a really nice little function. Under post format, I'm not going to go into it too much. If I just drop that down, these are all the post formats that you have available on the theme you're running. Because I'm running one of the 2020 themes, I have all of these post formats and I always leave it as standard. Up to you. You know your site, you know what you're trying to achieve there. Post categories, you can have a default post category that the post will be put against. I only have uncategorized, but if you had extra, they would show here. Show you how you're going to override that as well in a moment. And under content template, use this option to format and insert merge tags into the post title. So there's not many options we have at the moment, so we're not going to go into it, but you can actually format the content, the post title with a content template. Okay, that's the post title. I know there's a lot of information there, isn't there? Let's go to add fields again, post fields. The next thing we're going to want them to give us is the body of the article. This is going to be their text. Now you'll see here that it's a plain text editor. There's no ability to there's no ability to edit, bold, underline, format text here. I'll come down to that in a minute. So again, you'll notice that with all of these fields, you have the ability to set the post status. Just make sure that wherever you do it, you try to keep it the same. Come back to content templates later. Under advanced, yes, that's what I was looking for. Under the advanced option, you have this ability to use the rich text editor. If I check that, notice that what that gives you is your formatting bar at the top here. So now you can format the text, or they can format the text that goes into their post template. So that's really nice, or into their post body. That's a really nice function to have. Back to add fields. We want to get an excerpt from them. The excerpt actually becomes really important with your SEO. Leave it as plain text. You don't need your excerpt to have formatting on it. Leave it as plain text. And can we limit the number of characters on this? Yes, maximum characters on your excerpt. I would honestly limit it to no more than 80. This is really good for SEO, search engine optimization. This is what the search engines will see. So getting them to put in their post excerpt and give you good information here is really, really important. Okay, excerpt. Next thing we want to do is ask them to give us a post image. No article should go up unless it's got an image with it. This is my general rule of thumb. People are visual people. Some people will read and some people will just look at the pretty pictures. But the pretty pictures often help catch their eye so that they will read the contents. They try to get a photo from or an image from people to suit the article that they're giving you. Here with the post image, under our field settings, we can ask them to give us the alternate text. And you'll notice as we do this, we're getting more information being asked for here. The title, the caption, and the description. I wouldn't necessarily put the description or the caption in. I would ask them for the title and the alt text, alternative text, because this is what this works for SEO. Your search engine optimization will look at this information. You should, well, it's up to you. If you want to set this as featured image, set as featured image. That means that when this image is uploaded, it will allow you to set a featured image. It will allow you to it will set that image as the featured image. That's all we have on that one. We'll go back to add fields now. The last two things we need to do is ask them to select a category. You may not want to ask them to select the category, but ask them to select the category. When you do that, you have some options here. You can select it as a drop-down checkbox multi-select. I'm going to choose multi-select. Now, it does tell you that this is going to cause accessibility issues if you do choose multi-select, but the idea of multi-select is if they've got 2 or 3 categories that it suits, they can select those 2 or 3 categories. If you just leave it as drop down, they can only choose one category. If you make it check boxes, I believe they can check as many boxes as they want here, and radio buttons tends to be one only. I'm going to leave this as a drop down. You'll notice under categories, you can select the categories that that they can select from. So you might not want to give them access to all your categories. You might have select categories for just your guest authors or your guest posts. In this case, it might be reviews. Now, that's an original thought. I'll come back to that one in just a moment. You'll notice here that it's got display placeholder. If you put display placeholder, it says select a category. What that means is that when they look at this drop down, we'll see this in a minute when we look at the form, it's going to say select a category. Okay, and the last one that we want to look at is tags. And I haven't really covered what the difference between category and tags are in this podcast at all. We will get back to that at some point, but we've got our tags here. And you might want to ask them to give you tags to put in here. Just separate the tags with commas. They don't need hash. They don't need the little pound sign in front of them. Hash sign, as we call them here in Australia. You can select the field type. Is it a single line text, drop down, check boxes, multi-select? I'm just going to leave it as single line text. And that's it. Go back to add fields. So the only things that we haven't covered here is the custom field. We're not going to cover that because we're not using custom fields on this site. We're not, and they are sort of the next level of advancement in what we're doing. Now that we've done that, we're going to click Save Form. And then we're going to come to our settings for the form. We're just going to scroll through here. I covered a lot of these settings previously. I will get you to go back to that podcast where I covered these settings. But what we are going to do is we are going to enable anti-spam Honeybot. And that hopefully, and we're going to get it to create the entry anyway and mark it as spam so that we can see it. But hopefully that will allow, that will start to limit the number of rubbish entries we get. Click Save. Confirmations. So under confirmations, when they submit this form, because this is a post, we're going to edit the confirmation. They're not contacting us. I should be talking when I do this, shouldn't I? Okay. Oh dear, sometimes I just can't multitask. There we go. So the confirmation is what appears after the form has been submitted. We're just going to use text. It says, thanks for submitting your input. We'll review your content and let you know when it goes live. I'll come back to that one in a minute. Notifications. So what we want to do is we're only going to have an admin notification. And I'm not going to go through all of these fields. It's just going to send it to our defaults. And it's going to send me everything, but it's going to tell me that a new entry has been submitted for this. Let's go back to our edit screen. Now you'll notice there where we said we'll let you know when this is submitted. How do we know how do we know who to advise? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go up to standard fields. I'm going to put a section break in above the post type. We're going to call the section break your submission. And then above the section break, we're going to go down to advanced fields and we're going to get their name and their email address. That's all we need. And what we're going to do is we're going to make these required. You don't even need to get the last name. We're just going to get their name and their email address. We're going to make these required so that we know who's submitting them, so we know who's trying to talk to us. Now, this is going to be like really, it's going to look awful like this. What I'm going to do is drag my email address up so I can do name and email address. And the last thing I'm going to do to make my form look good is a section break again. Now, if you're wondering how the hell do you do all this, there are episodes on all of this, which is why I'm glossing over it because we've already covered it. And we're just going to say, tell us about yourself. Us about yourself. Excellent. Now we're going to save the form. We're going to preview it. Okay, and that's what our form looks like. This is great. What I want to do though is show you how to embed this form on a page and then show you how it looks when someone else comes to the site if they're not logged in, because this is going to be a public form. So to embed this on a page, what I am going to do is we're going to go to our pages menu here. Yeah, I open things in new tabs. I'm going to go to my sample page and edit my sample page. And you'll see that I've got a gravity form block here. So what I'm going to do just to make this easier, there we go. So this is just a sample page. Get rid of some of this content. And here we're going to, where we've got the block inserted, on the top left-hand corner of the screen, there's a plus in what should be a blue background, click on that, and in the search bar, type gravity. This is if we're using the block editor. You can drag it across to wherever you want it, and then we can select a form, and in this case, it's add a post. Okay, and that's kind of what it looks like. I'm going to click save. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this link address. And if you have been following this podcast along, you'll know that I also shared about how you can use Brave or Chrome profiles to allow you to be logged in on a site in through different people, or just to visit the site as a visitor and be logged in on another screen. So I'm going to go down to my profiles here and just say open a guest profile. And then I'm going to paste in the link. And here is our form on the page. So first of all, it's asking me to tell me about themselves. I'm just going to put CC DDD. And then it's asking me for my submission. So this is going to be the title. Lorem ipsum a few times. I don't have the text copied into my just to get some ideas here. Now, because I said we could use the editor here, we can actually now just highlight bits and pieces. We can underline, we can highlight things and make them block quotes. What else can we do? We can italicize things. If you hit the 3 toggle bar here, we can strike through, put a horizontal line, change the text color, paste as text, clear all the formatting, use a special character. So there's a whole heap of things you can do within the rich text editor. That's the word I was looking for. Down under post excerpt, you see it says 80 characters maximum. So we're just going to put 2, 3, 4. That should be enough. It tells you also when you're doing it how many characters you've got. Finally, well, not finally, we're not quite there yet. We want to upload a post image. Choose that image there. And you'll see again, it says the acceptable file types. Now, we didn't set this. This is actually part of the post image field itself. It will only accept JPG, JPEG, PNG, and GIF. It won't accept WebP. It won't accept SVG. It's a very basic form, field. And remember what I said in, I think it was yesterday's episode, maybe it was the episode before, where we can upload files to a Gravity form. We still need to be careful that these images going up don't contain malicious content. We can set the alternate text, pretty scene. This is a pretty scene. Okay, and we can set the title of the image as well. Now we can select our post category. I don't have a category to select, so it's just going to go into uncategorized, and I can type a tag in test post, comma, sample. Okay. Now if I click submit, nope. Oh, I was meant to be an email address. Oh, I'm so bad. But see, great that I did it, because you get to see what the errors look like, and it tells you where the error is. It's checked everything else. Everything else is fine. We can click submit now. I didn't save my form, clearly. I did not claim it. So where it says, thanks for contacting us, we'll get in touch with you shortly, that should be saying, thanks for submitting, we'll be in touch with you when it goes live. I was a bit excited and didn't save my form. That done, however, let's flick back to the back end of our site. And we're going to go to our posts now. You'll see we've got 2 draft posts here. One is one that I did as a test before I did this podcast. This is the one that we just submitted. Now, if I go and just do a preview on it, we can just preview it. And look at that. We've got the title. We've got the image that I uploaded. It tells you who it was written by. Now, this is because the form sets this written by. That's because the theme sets this. But it tells you that your author was me. It was uncategorized because we didn't set the category on it. And the text that we've got along with the tags. That's what it looks like. You can go in and edit it. In the post menu, you can click edit. You can change everything you want in here. It is a standard WordPress post. You can make the changes that you want with it. And then when you're ready, you can say publish and send it live. If I go back to the post itself or the form itself, I'm just going to click save because I didn't click save before. So I've clicked save now. And we're going to have a look at the entries. You'll see that it's given us, because this is a different form, it's given us 5 different columns to work with. The first name, last name we didn't use, so we can take that out if we want. The email address, what we said the post title was going to be, and what the post body is. Now, I view that. If you remember couple of episodes ago, maybe it was yesterday, I don't know, they all tend to blur together for me. I said that you could use this as a bit of a CRM and send a message. Once that post has gone live, you can come into here and you can say, thanks for the submission. This post has now been published on the site. And you can say email that note. So when you click add note, it's asking you for the submission is live. There we go, adding a subject. When you click email it, it will choose the email address that was entered in the form. You can set a subject and you can click add note, and when that goes out, that's going to say thanks for the submission. They're going to get this as an email to say that this post has gone live. So that's one way you can use this as a small CRM, as a small way of communicating with people. Okay, I think that is all I wanted to cover on adding a post today. Let me come back. Pretty full on. There is so much functionality you have with Gravity Forms. I really can't. I just love it. It's just one of my favorites. It's one of my favorite things to work with. The ability to add a post through a form may revolutionize what you're trying to do, may give you more flexibility. Like I said, I've used it to collect reviews from people, to collect feedback from people on things, and have it just create a post that I can go and look at and say, yep, that's great. I'm going to send that live as social proof on what I'm doing, that what I'm doing is good. I should note that I do have a link for Gravity Forms in the show notes for this episode. That is an affiliate link. I do get a small commission if you buy from that link. Apart from that, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if there's something I glossed over that you went, what did you just do? Please leave comments wherever you're watching or listening to this video. You can also come and join me on my locals community, askcharlyleetham.locals.com. It is designed for business owners who are trying to get not control of, but to try and understand their tech better and not really delve down into the ones and zeros of what goes on, but to be able to ask business-focused questions and get hopefully understandable answers for your questions. If this video was useful to you, please give it a like. I really would appreciate that. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so you find out when I drop more content. I will see you guys all tomorrow. Bye. Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost. I hope today's episode gave you some actionable insights that will make your business tech work smarter for you. If you found value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other small business owners who could use a daily boost. For more tips, tools and resources, visit www.askcharlyleetham.com. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and let's make tech simple together.